Welcome to Click for Biology. We are studying D3.1 and we are now going to look at placental structure. There's a PDF of this presentation linked into the description down below. You can download that and annotate that with your own notes and then take the 10-question quiz with answers to evaluate your learning. So we had previously discussed how the blastocyst implants into the uterine wall and how the membranes of that, although the inner cell mass gives rise to the embryo and the fetus, the other membranes give rise to the placental membranes, of which featured here is the placenta itself. And within the placenta, there's the umbilical cord connecting the fetus to the placenta. And so the arrangement then is that we have the fetus, or the embryo, is connected to the mother. So let's draw the mother's uterus wall is here with all her blood supply, and the umbilical cord, which is a feature of the developing child, plugs into the wall of the endometrium like so. So remember that the placenta is part of the fetal structures, and that is effectively integrated into the wall of the mother's endometrium and thereby connecting to her blood supply. So the umbilical cord carries blood vessels from the fetus. There are 2 umbilical arteries and there's a single umbilical vein, and the exchange takes place between the fetal blood, which is passing through the blood of the umbilical artery and vein, and then comes into contact over a short distance of the placental membranes with the maternal blood. And there's an exchange then takes place across that there. The placental membranes of mammals are quite thin, quite narrow, and the blood forms very strange, almost like blood lakes, across which the actual exchange takes place. But such details are not required for this particular course. So let's take a look at the actual exchange taking place, and just stop off and look at these images here. These are on the left. This is a 2-dimensional ultrasound with the placenta is located in this position, I understand here. The fetal head is there, the fetal body is here. The umbilical cord must be winding like so. This is a 3-dimensional transduction image of a twin pregnancy, actually. There's a leg here, twin pointing that way. This is a head, arm, body, leg. Okay, so the head's up this way, and you can sort of make out the umbilical cord in this region here, and it's actually twisting around here with the amniotic membrane separating the 2 developing fetuses there. We can't actually see the placenta in that particular image, but we can see something of the umbilical cords. So these can be evaluated particularly with ultrasound. So let's look at the exchange across the placenta. So from the maternal blood going into the fetal blood, not surprisingly, are a large number of nutrients to support the growth and development of the fetus. And these would include glucoses, lipids, waters, minerals, vitamins, and so forth. But interestingly, also antibodies. So the mother will exchange her antibodies produced in response to pathogens in her environment. And so she'll share those with the fetus to give it short-term protection against pathogens in the environment, whilst its own immune system has yet to develop. And she also will exchange hormones across those between the 2 blood supplies as well. And amino acids apparently are actively transported across the placental membranes. One major item which is missed from the left-hand side here, of course, is oxygen. And students may be studying the differences between maternal and fetal blood, where fetal blood has a very high, what we would describe as a high affinity for oxygen, and so the oxygen passes from maternal hemoglobin to fetal hemoglobin. In the opposite direction, the fetus is getting rid of carbon dioxide and urea. HCG, of course, we've discussed this in the previous video, is going in that direction as well to maintain the corpus luteum in the mother's ovary, sustaining the progesterone production. But after the first trimester, it's the placenta itself that will take over the progesterone production, maintaining the lining of the uterus, maintaining the placenta in position until it's time for birth to occur. And of course, water is actually exchanged in the opposite direction as well. And so the mother will be breathing out carbon dioxide from the fetus. She'll be excreting urea in her kidneys, also derived from the fetus, along with any water which needs to be removed as well. Placental hormones are produced, as mentioned early in a pregnancy. It's the hormone HCG that maintains the corpus luteum of the ovary. And of course, what that's doing is producing progesterone. This progesterone maintains the lining of the uterus, preventing the loss of the implanted egg. HCG lasts for about 10 weeks, and that's about the end of the first trimester. And in the second trimester of the pregnancy, that role is then taken over by the placenta itself. And so the placenta provides progesterone of its own. And so if we follow the progesterone production, this is the HCG influence, like so. And then later on, we have the placental production of that until the end of the actual pregnancy. And it's actually the drop in the progesterone levels which are an integral part of the termination, of the ending, I beg your pardon, a bit of the ending of the actual pregnancy and birth occurring, which will be our next video, which is lined up on the left. We have a chance to subscribe to the channel in the middle and the playlist on the right hand side.